Mamon.
I know people are like, hey, man, Smashing Pumpkins aren't metal. I know. Well aware.
I mean, I permits me. They were. I'd say they were. You know?
Yeah, but you always have the asshole online that always gives you, well, actually.
You know, bro, if you really listen to Melancholy and Infinite Sadness.
25 years ago today, that came out.
Wow. Not bad.
Yeah.
It's aged well. Bullet of Butterfly Wings is aged very well.
I'd say that's one of the few tracks off of that. Is it just me or is that entire album, which, 2-record set? There are like 3 good tracks on it, and then there's one track that all of it all sounds like. It all sounds the same.
You'd be pissing off a lot of Billy Corgan fans with that, but that's not that far from the truth. I mean, I don't even think it's their best album. A lot of purists would disagree.
Siamese Dream.
But yeah, I think that's perfect. That's the perfect one. It's Melancholy has grown far more than it should.
Yeah,
and apparently that is a part of a trilogy. The albums. Okay, it's Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness, and then Machina.
Yeah.
And a later to be released 3rd album that's supposed to complete this trilogy.
So that's what they're talking about, because they had mentioned that. Because the tie-in, I always knew that they'd always try to pass off a tie-in with Machina with Melancholy. Well, right. And then they're saying now so Billy Corgan's talking about doing a sequel to Melancholy that would be the 3rd in the trilogy.
Yeah. And which, one, I learned that the day I read it. I didn't realize that it's a concept fucking album.
Right.
It doesn't make it any better or make it any worse to me.
Right.
Because I've listened to that album enough not even knowing that. It's like listening to a cover of While My Guitar Gently Weeps that's acoustic for years, and then you hear the actual version. That's how it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I was just stunned. Like, thought 25 years. So that means this record actually came out like 3 days after Shannon Hoon died on tour. Then,
yeah,
because that happened this week.
Damn.
1995 on this date was, or this week was not a kind one to 90s music.
No kidding, man. That's kind of a fucking 1-2 right there.
Death of Shannon Hoon, and then release of Melancholy. Like, can it get worse?
Anything else bad happen today? Shit.
Shit. I don't know.
God damn.
Mead, Metal, and MMA podcasts get together and plug on about all kinds of things here.
We plug it all. We leave no hole unplugged.
Yeah. Yeah, Mead update. Clearly, we've done nothing. But that's about to end, though. We've agreed on Cobalt. We'll do that for the Troublemaker we need to do. Long ships, I think we're going to see ourselves probably about next summer before we even need to worry about that shit running out.
Yeah.
Mainly because I have about another half a gallon of unadulterated batch 1 that I need to put in there.
Yeah, and it's really gotten clear, too.
Yeah.
As has Troublemaker.
Yeah, that's actually probably the prettiest mead we've had, but that's because it's like all the any particulate matter settled into the bottom of that barrel and is actually now acting as a curative function to keep that barrel from leaking.
Sweet time, man.
Yeah.
Time makes everything great.
It does. So, yeah, we're going to go Cobalt on Troublemaker. We've not started Green Man, and there's a specific reason why. It's because Mother Nature's currently janking our chain. Having to do with we were nearly 90 degrees yesterday.
Right.
And I think we peaked at 50 today.
Yeah. I'm wearing long sleeves today.
It's like 40 fucking degree swing on daytime highs. If you want to talk overnight lows, shit, son, it was almost 60 degrees. Because almost 90 yesterday and it was around 30 this morning, just above. So that's a 60-degree swing. Go ahead and sign me up for the Mars mission. Shit, I'm ready.
What? How much worse could it possibly be? Can't be that bad.
Keep them swings going, I guess.
But
it's fine. I mean, the problem is now my tomatoes are just now realizing, hey, man, it might be time for us to put on some size and turn red. And it's going to be too late.
My tomatoes say that too, but those are my balls.
Ah, gotcha. The prickly tomatoes.
Time to change before the season's over.
Green chili, because we had another day that was colder than shit, so I pulled all of those and roasted those I had. It's eastern New Mexico. It is what it is.
Right.
You'll be cruising along. Feels like you're going to get no break from summer. And next thing you know, like, wait a goddamn minute. Shouldn't there be a season in between summer and winter?
Yeah. When I headed out last night, it was right in the middle of that cold front coming in.
Yeah.
And I had to slow down like 10 miles an hour because the visibility went to zero because we've had nothing, no moisture to speak of. And it was just a dust storm.
Yeah, it's like,
it was amazing.
It's just silica dust all over everything. Now, that might change because we're looking at maybe getting snow on Monday. So
I don't even care.
That's probably the right attitude to have.
I don't even give a shit. Bring it on.
Let's see, metal site. Oh, and you might be going, wait a minute, why are you running through this so fast? Well, there's a specific reason because there's a huge event coming up tomorrow MMA-wise. And usually if we're cutting right through segments as quick as we can, it's usually because we want to spend a lot of time on one of those particular designed sections of the Mead, Metal, and MMA podcast.
Yeah, and there's a few things on top of the mighty LJ coming in with his knowledge that I feel like deserves a bit of discussion as well.
Okay. Well, shall we go ahead and jump to the LJ segment early?
Let's go ahead because some things he say may preface some things we're about to discuss.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and get the rundown with Lowdown this week on the look at the metal and the new releases for this week of October, whatever the fuck it is, 20 so what is today?
October. I like that.
23rd?
October, whatever the fuck it is. You have to put TH at the end of it.
Welcome back to the metal portion of the Mead, Metal, and MMA podcast. I'm your obscenely energized host, LJ, and let's jump right into those releases. First of all, we've got the band Leaves Eyes, Leaves Eyes. Now, this is kind of cool because, the album's called The Last Viking, and I expected it to be Viking metal. Found out, it actually kind of reminds me of Nightwish and The Dark Element. Pretty damn cool. I wouldn't exactly call it Viking metal, but I definitely call it like melodic, Celtic sounding. Some orchestral metal going on there. So if you're into that kind of stuff, pick their album up and give them a listen. I was able to listen through most of the album. I skipped around, as I am wont to do whenever I review albums for this podcast. So that allows me to get like a general idea of what's going on without having to sit there for hours and listen to all sorts of music. Also, since this is a Friday release, as with all Friday releases in the podcast, usually happens on a Friday, that means that I have to wait until Friday in order to get a hold of the album. See, I got a new process down. Instead of, like, doing it just kind of halfway skimming and guessing, I can just wait till Friday, listen to parts of the album, and be like, these guys blow donkey ass. But I gotta say, Leaves Eyes sounds pretty good. I'm also not using a script this week, so if you hear me going, or, then that's why. I'm also recording as I go. New process. Now, this next one ought to have the guys at the Mead Hall talking. Devin Townsend. The album is called Order of Magnitude, Empath, Live, Volume 1. Jesus Christ, could you have picked a bigger mouthful besides my wiener? In all honesty, though, I've never listened to Devin Townsend till today. And, I guess you gotta be a fan or dig what he does. I mean, Jesus, like, the first song on this album was 9 minutes and 29 seconds. I'm all for prog stuff. I don't think this is prog, but it did have a odd sound to it, so I guess you gotta have a very selective taste. I don't hate it, if that means anything to you guys. So go ahead and slake your Devin Townsend thirst with this album. And drink lots of beer to wash it down. Lots of beer. You should know that's a pretty serious order because this is coming from a guy who does not touch alcohol anymore. At all. Ever. Moving on, here's another band that the guys at the Mead Hall are going to talk about and have probably talked about already on the show. I'm talking about motherfucking Pallbearer. They don't have motherfucking in the name. The album is called Forgotten Days. And I skipped around this one, but I actually ended up stopping on a couple songs and listening to them about halfway through. And then skipping towards the end. Dude, I've never actually listened to doom metal consciously or like intentionally or whatever the term is. Willingly, I guess. Yeah, I dig it, man. Especially this band. This is pretty cool. So if you're into doom or you're into Pallbearer, pick up this motherfucking album and throw them some cash. They could probably use it to make more doom metal. Hell yeah. And finally on this list, to my extreme excitement, this is like my Deftones to Ruben. This is Seven Dust, motherfucking Blood and Stone is the name of the album. I almost zoned out and forgot about the podcast. I was checking out their songs and I was like, oh, this one's good. Oh, that one's good too. Oh my God, that one's good too. And you know what? I love Seven Dust. I got to see them live whenever, I think they were opening up for In This Moment. I could be mistaken. But anyway, yeah, they put on a hell of a good show. And I really, really wish I could see them again. Damn, this Backstreet Boys reunion tour. Son of a bitch. Anyway, go ahead and get out there. You know what? Don't go out there. Instead, stay indoors and stream the shit out of this album at maximum volume until you drive the neighbors out. Let them catch the Rona. Fuck you, neighbors. And that's all I got for this week. Hey, guys, just a quick update on the Kinky Butt Sex. KBX. Let me plug my own shit is what I'm trying to say here. So, I re-recorded the entire album from whatever key it was in. It was out of key. To D standard, which is my usual. And I ended up recording all 8 songs that I had finished in 2 nights. And today I've been touching them up and stuff. So, 8 of the 10 songs that are going to go on the album are finished. We've broken the 30-minute mark. It's exciting as hell. So, on the 28th of October, there is going to be another song dropping on the KBX Band YouTube page. You got to go over there and check it out on the 28th, man. It's going to be epic. Yeah, have a listening party on the 28th. Get your friends, get your parents, get your sister's boyfriend, get your dogs and cats, get your fucking goldfish. It's going to rock, man. I don't know if it's going to be a funny song or a serious song. On my Facebook page, I got a thing where I'm having people choose whether it'll be a comedic song or an intense song. And we're just going to have to find out what it's going to be. All right, so I'm going to get off here. I'm done plugging my shit. You guys take care, stay safe, and don't catch the Rona, please. Instead, catch the metal bug. It hurts your neck, but it feels damn good. All right, see ya! I mean, what's the deal with all these metal bands? Why do they all have to sound alike? Why does every single one of them have a drummer that sounds like he's a machine? What is the deal? Oh, shit, I'm still recording.
All right.
Oh,
KBX and LJ getting it done. Certainly support that guy. Because, look, he doesn't work for us. He's in no way really obligated to much, except he does. He steps up every week.
He's part of the collective.
Gives us the metal update for the week on the new releases and everything else. He's an integral part, but it's not like it's a paid position. So support him. You'll support us by supporting that guy.
Which, by the way, I'm voting comedy. He had the poll up where, you know, if you wanted to listen, the next song to be a serious one or a funny one.
Yep.
I vote funny.
Sure, why not?
We got enough seriousness around here.
2020 been a little too serious.
Yeah, a little hard. A
little on edge.
But you know what? It's going to be fine. I'm actually the happiest I think I've been all year.
Yeah. It's one of those you got to kind of find your own happiness. The year started off pretty goddamn great. I thought 2020 was going to be the best year ever. But
the best, Jerry. The best.
But not so much, man. It kind of started being a shit show. Got late February, and I thought, I think we're all going to be fucked. And I was right 2 weeks later, and there it is. Dunsky.
Here we are.
But we did get the Deftones release. We should be getting, that's next week, I think, isn't it? It's the week after next. That we're getting the Lucid Planet release.
Yeah.
Paul Bearer dropped today. It's a lot of great things kind of
going on. New Pusfer next week.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we're supposed to get Black Stallion before the end of the year too. You know, the remaster of White Pony.
That doesn't really take super long to put together. I'm sure they've already been working on it. Even if it was on the day it was first mentioned,
right?
They've probably been working on that for months before that.
Sure.
So that if that closes out the end of the year, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, and on top of that, I think if you're just trying to numerically blame years, you're kind of a dummy. Because I think in the grand scheme of everything, you can't just say, well, the whole year screwed me and right in the buttocks. You can't say it. Because
no, don't put it on time.
It's you got to make your own fucking luck and bring your own joy and everything else. Man, if you don't like being locked down here in New Mexico because we have a governor who just likes to treat everybody like a child, I moved to Florida. Fuck it. You'll probably catch coronavirus, but
you might get that sweet ass Rona.
Yeah, but hey, you ain't got nobody telling you what to do.
Okay, so I got to talk about this Paul Bearer album.
Okay.
I worked till 1 o'clock today, and I was in the green room, my first day in sales.
Oh, gotcha.
And it was just me, because in the morning, there's about 3 people there, and it builds around noon. More people show up to get work done. So it's just me and Alexa back there.
Gotcha.
Now, I don't mean like a really good-looking woman.
No.
I mean a really cool piece of equipment.
Talking about the spy in your house.
That's right. We got a spy in our house, son. But this is like a Sonos Alexa. It's like a $300 fucking speaker.
Holy shit.
Because every time you come in there and you hear like this low-thumping rap music, it's played on a fucking speaker about 8 inches tall.
That's fucking crazy.
And that $300 price tag, that's where it all is. So I'm like, Alexa, play Paul Bearer's new album. Came right on. I was like, cool. All right. So I've listened to it. Granted, it made my workday go by rather nicely. You know, couple guests came in. I got to get out of that fucking routine.
Yeah. different industry, son.
Oh, man, that chapter's been burned.
You got patience, not guests.
I do plan on listening to the entire album. I got through 2 songs, man, and I was like, this just isn't for me.
No, it's evolved to something that I don't. It's moved on from what originally had kind of drawn me to their sound. Now, it is interesting that there are some people that like to call themselves the old school fan base, saying that, oh, yeah, this sounds like the stuff that they used to do.
Absolutely not.
What, before Foundations of Burden? You know, back when they were a small band in Little Rock, maybe? I don't know.
That's the thing. After when I got home, I was checking out some comments on a YouTube page that had the full album. 8 out of 10 comments was, man, it just seems like with after Foundations of Burden, they've been on a bit of a downward trend. I was like, maybe that's the case. Maybe Foundations of Burden came out and people were kind of blown away by it.
Yeah. And actually, I should back up. I meant Sorrow and Extinction.
Yeah.
I mean, it had to be something that predated that. You know, if they're talking about their old-timey stuff,
yeah,
I don't know.
They have 4 albums.
Yeah.
4 albums and I think an EP. And in no way, shape, or form do I feel what little I have heard measures up with anything like that. People are comparing it to their old shit, so that's I try to do the same thing, and I just don't hear it.
Yeah, my comparative album is Foundations of Burden. Always will be with those guys.
I mean, I'm sure there might be a banger or 2 on this album.
There always is.
But Paul Bearer album release days, we've had 2 since we've been following them, and they've, like, today we didn't even plan one.
Yeah.
No. Heartless we did, and we were like, cool, it's good.
Yeah.
But, man, there's few things on there I don't really dig. This one, it's like, damn, I couldn't get through it. I was like, fucking Alexa, play Real Big Fish.
Yeah.
And had to cheer myself up. Which worked beautifully, by the way.
Yeah. No, ska is always good for background music.
Man, you're especially a fucking asshole. You've got me back into ska.
Good. I've done my work here is done.
As soon as I started working there and I started playing Real Big Fish in that dispensary, it's just like, man, this just feels right. Feels perfect. Right. And YouTube being the sage they are, they'll play a little Goldfinger every now and again, a little Boss Tones.
Yeah. Which is really about 90% of ska, but you
True.
you got to dig around for the other ones, but they're there. You know.
Yeah. So I did that, and the other thing I wanted to talk about. Did you see the anger that fucking David Crosby caught?
Here's my problem with that. Well, and to give it a little background, after Eddie Van Halen died, they asked David Crosby, "What'd you think of him?" And he said, "Man, he's a guitar player," or something like that, right? And
guitar, right?
And immediately, fucking the world just lost its shit. The same world, I would enter into evidence that didn't give 2 fucks about who Eddie Van Halen was. I hadn't heard Eddie Van Halen mentioned in a conversation in 5 years.
Yeah, the last time he played a live gig.
And that guy, but then he dies, and you get all these assholes that come out of the woodworks like, oh, man, greatest guitar player ever, great. I can't think of how life is going to continue on now. just like all the other times. It always has.
Just keep jamming that latest Van Halen album. It'll get you through, guy.
Deal with it the way you had prior to his death, and that is ignore him. That's what 99.9% of you did. I mean, I get it. There's a few. Like I know, I've got people I know that are big into EVH brand, and that also means that they were big Eddie Van Halen fans. So that's fine. I'm not busting their balls. I'm talking about the ones that suddenly on social media felt like they had to call out an old man. How old is David Crosby? That guy's got to be pushing 80.
Yeah, he looks like a shitty Santa. Shitty Santa with just a huge mustache.
So then he came back out, and then he had to re-release something like that to apologize or some shit. I don't know what. I don't know. Why would you even give anybody the time of day? After you've said something really, really unseemly, why backtrack and then apologize for it? Just stand by your guns and let everybody know. It's like, after you die, then they go, I don't know, say what you want to, but that guy was an asshole and stood by it.
Yeah, no shit. Be recognized for what you are. Not a huge lie everyone makes up after you die.
Yeah.
Oh, god damn. People are just, it's amazing how affected people are by others that they've never met in their lives.
So that's the funny thing. So when it comes to like, heavy rock and metal, I expect their fans to, have a little thick skin. But apparently not. Apparently they are just as thin-skinned as any Taylor Swift fan out there.
Ooh.
So there you go.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Hey, if the shoe fits, you can go ahead and fucking throw that bastard on and walk around in it.
If the shoe fits, you can just shove it right up your pooter.
That's what you can do.
Oh, and by the way, a new Sewing song came out today.
Might as well. They don't do any. There's no rhyme or reason when they drop music. So
yeah, I just read it on Metal Injection, so we'll be checking that out later.
Okay. What else do we have going on this time?
Man, outside of that, that's about it. Not a whole lot of releases came out this week that really fall within our radar.
Yeah. Man,
that's what we hired LJ for. That's why we pay him the money we pay him.
The big $0. Yeah.
He gets half of everything we make.
You know what's hilarious though, because I know he listens to this with his wife. We had to start throwing it out there. It's like, so $100 we gave LJ last week.
How'd you like that gold telephone we gave you, dude?
Yeah, you been holding out on me?
Let's get to these chingossos, man.
All right, there's a huge UFC card coming up tomorrow. It's the biggest one on Fight Island since the last big one on Fight Island. A lot of people say this one's even bigger because of who's involved. I don't put that much weight in it. You could make the argument Khabib's probably the greatest fighter of all time. That's fine. It doesn't make for an entirely great card. The rest of the card builds what's great about that card.
Absolutely. It's a well-built fucking, the main card top to bottom is pretty solid. There's something there for everybody.
Time kind of sucks because they're doing it because apparently Khabib wanted to make sure it was at nighttime.
Yeah, so, god damn, man.
Or
fucking
something.
Fight starting at noon Mountain Time.
I don't know. I want to know what the pay-per-views are. Not from Dana White. I want to know what the actual pay-per-views are.
Well, shit, until they become a public traded company, they don't even have to tell us.
No.
It's eventually irks its way out, with time when no one cares.
Right.
But, it'd be like, oh, man, with 50 million hits.
Main card starts at 11 a.m. Pacific time.
You know,
right in the wheelhouse of your day when you want to watch violence.
And when we do pay-per-views, we do pay-per-views.
Oh, we do them.
The day is reserved for making beautiful memories and then blacking them out with liquor and the green liquor.
As you do.
Right. So
I gotta let my goddamn dog out.
A main card start time of noon is ridiculous. It's not. They call it a special start time. There's nothing special about a fight card that starts at noon. The only thing special about it is it means I have to set an alarm tomorrow, and I don't like having to set an alarm on fight day.
Yeah, well, so we have to have a different strategy and everything else of being able to, because after you do a pay-per-view, so it comes on, say, at noon, and you wait for the whole thing to run through and everything else. Once you bought it, then you can go back and rewatch it at your leisure. So, I mean, there's that.
Right. And maintain media blackout in the same happens.
Well, there's that. I've had a weird week with a lot of relatives and friends I haven't heard from in a long time. Like, all just reaching out and getting a hold of me. It's just bizarre. But, tomorrow, if that's the same thing that's going to repeat itself like it did yesterday, you're going to be out of luck because I am not even taking my phone off the charger tomorrow. So
Yeah, no, I'm incommunicado.
Because I'm not going to have that shit ruined on what should be a great fight. I just don't want to watch it when Khabib wants me to watch it.
Yeah, and it's not like the last Fight Island pay-per-view started at a normal time.
It's been moving earlier, though, right? Because the last one, I think the main card started at 6. The one the week before that, I think it was 7.
But I would even still call that normal. That's still within the realm of normalcy for a main card.
Right.
But it's starting at fucking noon it's inconvenient. I mean, we're still getting a hell of a title fight. We're getting a stacked main card. I just wish it was kicking off about 8 hours later. That's all. Is that too much to ask? What is like fucking really? World Series preempting my chingasos now?
Well, that is the thing. So, yeah, if you're watching, as we do, as you'd said, we always do it right. We watch from the early prelims, through the main card, generally, when we can. As long as it's not anything ridiculous. And tomorrow is definitely ridiculous. 8:30 a.m. is when the early prelim comes on. Then
I guess I'll just crash on your couch tonight, and I'll see you in the morning for chingasos,
man.
Yeah,
smell of coffee and violence in the air. But I think the earlies come on at 8:30. Prelims come on at 10 a.m. and then main card at noon. Fucking day. And I know what I do, and I know the state of mind I eventually find myself in after that after the main event is over.
Right.
I don't want to be 11 p.m. drunk at 3 in the afternoon.
No, man, that's not fun because then you start to worry. It's like, shit, well, I can't stop now. What am I going to do? Go to bed?
Nah, push on through and you're blacked out at 8 p.m.
I mean, like 10 years ago, that would intrigue me. It's like, this is all-day raging, bro. But no.
Well, there's no weird co-eds from Stanford hanging around.
My overall time for drinking in a day has shrunk significantly, but the quantity has rose dramatically. So trying to fit those both together is a recipe for destruction.
Yeah. We'll have to see where some things are at, man. I've been on this shitty diet for the last, about 5 weeks anyway. And it's I would usually go on it because it seemed like it was a really good way to kind of clear out the works, blow the soot out, sort of, and I think there's some accuracy to that. But the downside is once I stop getting treatments because I have this weird condition, but I'll call it RA. Once that I stop getting those treatments and shit like that, then went on this diet, I've been having nothing but fucking spikes and flares ever sinch.
And they haven't been kind.
No.
They've been very aggressive.
Pretty fucking debilitating, I mean, right now, there's no way I'd do a road trip further than fucking Clovis. So
yeah, and even that's a fucking.
Well, that's because I know where the destination is. So
right there you go.
Zing. But yeah, man. It's so anyway. So I was able to come off of that today. The problem was I just had too much shit going on in my brain. I thought, do I go to Taco Bell? Do I go to get shitty food from fucking Sonic and regret it? And do I go to McDonald's and they only have breakfast for most of the day right now, right?
I guess. I don't know. It's been a while.
I haven't been there. And I thought, well, no, I could probably throw something together at home. I don't know. I went through the whole gamut of things. At the end of the day, I settled on this ramen that they sell in a specialty section at one of our local stores. That's actually almost in line with being on the fucking diet.
No shit.
The numbers would be too high, but
yeah.
but still, it's like, oh, so my big freedom meal is the first one of coming off the diet. It's something that's not far off the diet. Nice.
So basically, you're like getting out of a battered relationship, but you're still doing things that are pretty close to that previous relationship.
Yeah. Right. You're getting smacked around by like an NFL player, and then you go and date another NFL player.
There's help for people like you.
Right.
We might need to give Jack a call.
Now, the upside was, though, is that I was able to put away a copious amount of candy that I'd been having to just stare at for the past week. So that's kind of nice.
Nice.
Had that going for me, which is nice. Let's see. So we've complained about the times and everything else.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing I've noticed with Fight Island. And I do owe a big apology to the card from 2 weeks ago that I talked nothing but shit about.
Oh, yeah, right.
Because it turns out that you don't have to know the names. If it just has to be a good fight. A good fight is a good fight is a good fight. Doesn't matter who's involved. And we saw that with a fellow by the name of Joaquin Buckley. Who gave basically threw a front kick, opponent grabbed it, and the dude turns and throws the spinning back heel kick and knocks that dude out. The most devastating knockout of 2020.
It was a video game move. Put it up there with the Twister.
Stunning. And that wasn't the only great put away that night. There were about 3 or 4 other ones that were significant. They were significantly
violent.
So, yeah, just because I don't recognize the names of anybody in the early prelims and only 1 or 2 on the prelim card, that doesn't really mean shit.
Well, shit, man. We've prefaced this portion of the shit for years that it's not like we're sitting in our rooms fucking doing homework on these things.
Right.
This is just from the aspect of fucking 2 dudes that dig the shit, and it's the most casualist of opinion. The fandom is not, the opinion is.
Right. Yeah, so it's so who knows? So go ahead and give us a rundown of what we've got on the prelim card.
All righty. Let's see who isn't blacked out on Wikipedia. Hey, there's a few on here. All right.
Okay, because we've seen lately a lot of basically insert your photo here kind of things on the placeholders, right?
Right. We got I was about to say Yoel. I might have to click on his name to see if he's Brazilian. I might be right. No, he's Spanish, so I guess I'm sort of right. Yoel Alvarez fighting Alexander Yakovlev. Yakov Smirnov. This is going to be at a catch weight of $159 because Yoel Alvarez came in about 3.5 pounds overweight.
As we know, Dana White loves catchweight fights.
Yeah.
So then what else do we have besides the bad boys of the sport not want to make weight? Being rebels and such.
It's funny you mention that because there's another fighter in the prelims that didn't make weight either. And it's a name we all know.
Is it Cowboy Oliveira?
If this was Price is Right, Bob Barker be giving you $500.
Only reason I ask, because I know that asshole is on the card, and who's fucking notorious about not being able to make weight?
$173 for welterweight.
God, that dummy. Well, at least he fucking acted like he tried this time and not coming in 6 or 7 pounds over.
Right. Let's see. Pretty interesting. We got Sam Alvey on the prelims fighting Jung Da-un.
Okay.
Sam Alvey, ever since he was flatlining people, has done less than nothing.
Are you a little shocked he's actually still in the roster?
Nah, he's too much of a personality now. Yeah, he had something else going for him outside of being right now a lackluster light heavyweight.
Good, because that guy has not done anything inspiring, like you said, on the feet, man.
That's why they held on to Mark Hunt for so long. The Aussie crowd, that was about it for him until Robert Whittaker came around and started slaying fools.
Yeah. But Alvey's never had that kind of real fan, swell of fan support.
Yeah, well, it began, but then he started losing fights. And then bump up to light heavyweight, and I don't know if he's won a fight at light heavyweight yet.
Yeah. Yeah, man, he's a guy that knows where he's at. His place is outside the top 10.
Oh, yeah. Outside of being ranked altogether. Main event of the prelims, Stefan Struve fighting, speaking of, Tai Tuivasa.
It's a little shocking. He's on a prelim card now.
Stefan Struve, has he always had to cut weight?
I don't know, but the guy is huge. The problem is he's tall. That guy's knocking on the door at 7 foot, right?
Yeah.
So, even he usually looks pretty svelte, but he's not, because 7 feet tall, that requires a lot of bone and mass.
Yeah, a lot, and you can't be that fast.
Yeah,
legs can be fast, fists. That's tough.
Man, see, I thought Tuivasa had got cut. Okay, well, I'm glad he's still in the promotion then.
Yeah, well, they probably kept him fist fights the last time Stefan Struve fought someone from Australia. He got his jaw broken.
He might do it again. Tai Tuivasa's not a guy to mess around with.
Absolutely. And then that brings us to the main card. The kick-ass start time of noon. Did we mention that? Starts at noon.
Have we complained about that several times already?
Dicks.
What are there, 6 fights on that or 5?
6 fights, proper PPV.
Okay. Well, because we kind of get screwed here lately, and we still could. That card is a whopping 16, 17 hours off. But
I don't have near enough whiskey to make it till then.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and get it started, because there's going to be There's going to be one fight where probably none of you have ever heard either one of the guys, but the rest of the card is pretty impressive. And that's what they do when they think that they've got a bona fide good fight of two fighters you've never heard of. It's like the second, third fight.
Yeah, Jacob Malkoon fighting Phil Hawes.
Yeah.
But, it's always, if you can throw two guys that are kind of on a serious uptrend on a pay-per-view, fucking do it, man.
Yeah.
It benefits both parties. You're going to get someone that maybe surprises a lot of people out of the deal.
Yeah, you're not lying.
Or you find out that both these guys are jerks and belong on the prelims for a little bit.
Sure.
Opening up with Magomed Ankalaev fighting Ion Cutelaba, part 2.
Yeah. Kutalaba's he was supposed to fight her a few weeks ago, right? And then had a positive COVID.
I think it was this fight. Because this is a rematch of, remember the refs stopped it really, really early?
Yeah.
And Cutelaba wasn't, fucking popped up immediately. So what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
And so this is a rematch of that.
Okay.
That's been kind of postponed due to the Rona. This is light heavyweight dudes fighting for a spot, man. And I like Ion Cutelaba a lot, but he did get dropped in that fight.
Right. Yeah, man. But, did he get dropped by a lucky shot? There's just one that got through and he didn't get his head off center?
The shot itself wasn't lucky. It's just how it looked, the way he absorbed it.
Yeah.
You go straight up blackout, lights out for even a nanosecond, and it looks bad.
I'll go Cutelaba the second time around.
Make a Ankalaev Cutelaba 3 down the road.
Sure, yeah, got to have that trilogy fight going on with two people nobody gives a shit about.
A fight that I think was on the prelims because got bumped up because we did lose a fight. Lauren Murphy fighting Lilia Shakarova at $1.25.
Yeah, that's another one where it's not a. I don't have a big vested interest in it. However, having said that, you cannot have in 2020 or in the modern times now. These crazy times, you can't have a pay-per-view event without a female fight on the main card.
No, and it doesn't make sense because it doesn't progress you want to progress as many of these weight classes on both sides as you can.
Speaking of that, we'll get back to 254 in a second. The Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier thing keeps getting kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Poirier immediately said, yeah, I'll fight Conor, because Conor had said he'd fight him and he would give $250,000 to some it's charity that Dustin Poirier is supportive of. And Poirier immediately said, yep, sign me up. And then, so Conor McGregor himself is trying to make this fucking fight. I don't know where he gets off, but trying to make the fight and everything else and trying to build it around 170. And Dana White steps in and said, no, the UFC will handle this. We'll take care of it. It sounds like a great card, and a great fight, and we want to be part of it. Conor's stipulation was it had to be before January. So that means it has to be in November or December. Little short notice on that. Dana White immediately said, no, it'd be January. So there's that. Also, Conor was saying, yeah, it'll be at 170, so neither one of us have to bother cutting weight and everything else. And Dana White said, no, it'll be at 155. The fight didn't make any sense at 170. Neither one of those assholes are ranked at 170. They're both ranked at 155. And he said it's the same as a catchweight fight. And he said, you know what my take is on catchweight fights.
Yeah, they don't mean shit.
They don't mean anything. Why have a fight? And that was the other thing I thought was great, because he said, if you want to see a lot of fights that don't mean anything, you can watch a lot of other promotions. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, so we'll see if that still goes off or not. But if Dana White gets his way, which he usually does, it'll be in January, and that fight will be at 155.
As it should be.
Yeah, as it should.
And some late-breaking news, but I'll throw this in after we're done talking about the pay-per-view. Okay, let's see. Let me pull that back up. Get over here, you dick. And after that, the middleweight fight between Jacob Malkoon and Phil Hawes, both of which don't have a Wikipedia entry, by the way.
Right.
And side note, neither does Lilia Shakarova. But now we're moving on to the big boys. Alexander Volkov and Walt Harris doing the dance.
I like Walt Harris.
I like Walt Harris a lot.
Yeah.
His story's great. He's a good dude. And he slays fools. Granted, his last fight didn't go as planned.
Right.
Fucking Curtis Blades just said nope.
But I do think that he'll match up well against Volkov. I don't know how else to say it. You'll know what I mean when I say it, but it sounds bad. Volkov has got a European approach to fighting.
Yeah.
and I mean that as bad as it sounds. And if I offended anybody, sorry. But it's a little less physical and a lot more technical.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, it was Overeem. My bad. It wasn't Curtis Blades that Walt Harris got beat by.
Yeah, right. Yeah, stunning.
Yeah.
But I would say that's where I like Walt Harris, because he does not mind making that fight a little dirty, a little filthy, a little clinch and throw kind of thing. I don't know if Volkov can exist in that particular scheme for long.
Right. And
now, if he's able to keep his distance and keep throwing those fucking crazy ass kicks of his, that might be a whole different fight.
Followed up with that boxing
that
has been laying suckers out. Volkov, if you touch him on the chin, see that fight with Derek Lewis.
Yeah.
That was at the end of that fight, and he got put on his ass. So if it can happen that easily in the third, it can happen in the first two.
Sure.
I like Walt. Oh, then your co-main, which is I'm so glad to see this activity out of Robert Whittaker after a pretty impressive beatdown and a fairly funny post-fight interview.
That guy, did you see his press time this week?
I had to watch it.
That guy might be one of the funniest fighters on the roster.
Yeah, he's one of the few fighters that if I see he's done an interview, I'll probably watch it.
Yeah, and I don't mean knee slapping, but it's a lot of the stuff that he has is very inside. You kind of really have to be a fan of the sport, but if you are, he'll absolutely reward your fandom.
It's great. Fighting Jared Cannonier. This may be for a title shot.
Israel Adesanya already said that Jared Cannonier wins, and that's the fight to make. Well, the thing is, though, is he's not the one that makes fights. As we know, if nothing else, the UFC, they will let champions think that they're calling shots, but they're not.
Sure. Oh, yeah, the illusion of power.
Robert Whittaker wins this fight. Guess what? Adesanya, whether you like it or not, but you're fighting that man again.
Yeah, because Cannonier and Adesanya would be a cool fight. This Robert Whittaker that we see that's post that beatdown that Adesanya gave him, I'm really liking what I'm seeing so far.
Yeah, and I like Whittaker when he's on the other side of the world too.
Yeah.
I mean, so there you go.
He doesn't do great in Las Vegas.
No,
he does good enough.
Right,
but he doesn't do great.
Right. So that one's going to be a weird one because I'd like to take Cannonier, but I think really just out of just gut reaction, I'm thinking I think Robert Whittaker. I don't know that we're going to get a finish, which means it might be a spectacular finish.
Right.
Because
Absolutely.
I'm usually so far off base on that shit. But we'll see. That's gonna be. It depends, man. Because when Whittaker is firing on all cylinders, it can be the fight of the night.
Sure. And there certainly might be a performance of the night in there.
Yeah.
Unless the main event goes a distance and is a barn burner.
Let's move on to that.
Oh man. This fight deserves, I know they were talking, Dana was talking how that fight between Adesanya and Paulo Costa was going to be fight of the year.
Right.
He should have kept his mouth shut and put all that praise on this fight.
I think the problem was Dana White, if for nothing else, is he's a carnival hawker.
Sure, modern day Barnum and Bailey, dude.
Because that guy, he knew that Paulo Costa fight was not going to be what he was claiming it was going to be. He was trying to sell pay-per-views. This one doesn't need it because the fact is, if you're a fan, you're going to buy this card anyway.
Sure. Oh, absolutely. And if you're an idiot that wakes up early and doesn't enjoy yourself on a night previous, you're going to watch it live.
Right.
Jerks. So I just want to look at the last 4 fights for each guy. Not break them down, just who they fought.
Khabib Nurmagomedov and Justin Gaethje. So,
yes.
All right, lay it on me.
Khabib. So, and I'll go from least recent to most recent. Decision win against Barbosa. A decision win against Ally Quina. Neck crank on Connor. And a rear naked on Poirier.
Right.
Those 4 names, probably the biggest out of all. Well, even Connor. But Connor was on coke and probably fucking drunk.
Yeah.
That was not a great Connor, so I don't view that as like a marquee win.
Yeah. I mean, and granted, you said not to break him down, but I mean, the Barbosa fight, he didn't let Barbosa do what Barbosa does, but he also didn't fucking finish him.
Right. And he rarely does.
Yeah.
He rarely does. His last 2 have ended in finishes.
Right.
But Ally Quina, I think, was probably the most dangerous guy he fought.
I would say out of all that, yeah. And MMA math doesn't count, but Justin Gaethje is far over and above Ally Quina.
Yeah. Well, here are his last 4 since his second loss on the road to Poirier. James Vick, knockout in the first. Edson Barbosa, knockout in the first. Cowboy Cerrone, TKO in the first. Tony Ferguson, TKO in the fifth.
Yeah.
There's a big discrepancy in names here. And it goes on down the list until, the World Series of Fighting stuff, you can't count those names.
Right.
You have to count the names in the UFC.
Sure.
Khabib's doesn't get any more impressive.
No, his most impressive fights have been the most recent.
Yeah. The point I'm trying to make is I think Justin Gaethje is the most elite fighter Khabib will have ever faced.
And I think that's probably pretty accurate. The problem I also have, too, because I really thought it was about a 75-25 in favor of Khabib until the weigh-ins. Khabib Nurmagomedov did not look like Khabib Nurmagomedov because he had to do the whole thing of stripping entirely down behind the towel.
He did it first.
He had to do the Daniel Cormier and lean on, stuff in order to kind of make sure it comes in at weight. He did. He came in right at 155.
There is a lot of skepticism about that weigh-in, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, there should be. There should be. Who have we seen actually in a card where a championship is involved, where it didn't look a little sketchy or you had some question marks?
Yeah, and if it's the challenger, then fuck it. They just don't get a chance at the gold.
Yeah.
But if it's champ, it's like, damn, this fight all of a sudden doesn't mean shit.
Right.
So you do what you can to save it, especially if you're all the way in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
I
think it's a solid 50-50. I really think if the fight ends in the first or second round, I would say it's probably going to be in favor of Khabib. But man, if it goes after that third round into the championship rounds, Justin Gaethje's just got a motor on him. So I'm not saying that Khabib doesn't.
Yeah.
But I don't think Khabib faced anybody that is at that same 100% that he was in the second, third round. Without losing that much.
It's the closest to like an El Kukui style of fighting that we'll actually see go up against Khabib in for the near future. So at the end of the day, Khabib likes to dictate pace and where you're going. Justin Gaethje likes to attack you all the fucking time. And if you come at him, here come the leg kicks.
Right.
And they're disgusting. I mean, look at Tony Ferguson's shin from that last fight.
Sure.
It was gushing blood just from checking him.
Khabib hadn't worn a lot of damage from anybody.
True. Very true.
I think that will be a very big difference come tomorrow.
I think Dana White said in his entire career in the UFCs, maybe he's lost 2 rounds.
Right.
And I believe that.
I'd
say that's fair.
Which makes it's the same thing if you're looking at other sports. If you're talking about football, back when the New England Patriots had a perfect season, they get to the Super Bowl and lose the fucking Giants. It's just like that, and that's what I'm hoping for that we see at Fight Island tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
But if something happens, Khabib just mauls Gaethje, my opinion of him will change. For sure.
I'm never going to like him, but I can respect him.
No, absolutely. No, I won't be a Khabib fan, but also I won't hate him just because he's a dick.
Right.
But I think Gaethje, third round, he's gonna black him out.
Yeah. I think it's going to be crazy. I think it's going to be a great fight, and then something weird's going to happen, like Khabib gets cut or something like that in the fourth, and that's where they have to end it.
Ooh, you think like some sort of doctor stoppage?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I like that even more. Intriguing.
All right.
Well, look at what Ferguson looked like at the 5th round.
That's what I mean. You had some you were going to sit on until we're done talking about 254.
Have you heard about the Leon Edwards situation?
Leon Edwards apparently was supposed to fight, I don't know, various people. Coronavirus came along. He couldn't pull off any of those.
Everyone from Kamaru to Jeff Neal.
Right. The promotion kept throwing him fighters, and he kept turning them down, saying a lot of these guys weren't up to his level. And that's a problem because that means you decline to fight.
And he's a third-ranked welterweight.
Right. So he didn't want anything unless it was basically a title shot, really, when it comes down to it. The promotion
and he was even offered that.
Yeah.
Like in July, it was a late notice fight against Usman, and he turned it down.
Right. Leon Edwards talks a great game. Looks really good when he's in the octagon, but the problem is reality. Reality says that man has declined fights. And I don't have a lot of sympathy if you've declined fights.
Yeah.
It was the same thing moving forward. Remember when Poirier initially, they were trying to make a fight, and he was supposed to fight Tony Ferguson, and that was all but done. Ferguson even came out saying, hey, pay the man. And the UFC said, no, that's what the terms are. You owe us another couple of fights on your contract. Here's what it is. Take it or leave it. And Poirier left it, and they said, okay, well, you declined the fight. And then Poirier immediately comes out and starts saying, I didn't decline the fight. I didn't decline the fight. Yeah, you did. If they were offering it to you, said, we have a contract, we'd like you to put your name on it, and you don't, you have declined that fight.
Yeah, and you do it enough, you end up losing your spot in the rankings.
Isn't that where we're seeing Ian Edwards now?
Leon Edwards, as of this morning.
Ian Edwards, that was a comedian.
Well done. Leon Edwards was no longer the third-ranked welterweight. He was pulled from the wankings. Oh man, I rank high in the wankings. And the funny thing was, the last fight that was offered to him was the new killer, fucking Chimaev.
Right.
And then after he declined that, goodbye. You're no longer in the rankings, asshole.
Good.
He's back in the rankings.
Oh, so I guess he came crawling back to the table then.
He's got a main event coming up.
Okay.
December 19th.
It's not Masvidal, is it?
No. It's against Chimaev.
Oh. So I guess the UFC got its way.
Oh, and not only that, it's like, welcome back to third rank, bitch. Here comes this unranked killer that may take your soul.
Yeah.
Oh, you fuck with us? You want your ranking back? Beat him.
I think
I love it.
I think Donald Cerrone has proven what you do to stay in the promotion and stay in their good graces. Take every fight they send your way, and you'll fight a lot, and you'll make a lot of money.
Very true. A lot of people like you for it. Oh man, this is it's. I said it yesterday. I've gotten some of the greatest news in the past 24 hours that I can remember in a long time.
Sure.
And that's perfect.
And so, mwah.
Yeah, Christmas
right
is going to be beautiful this year.
Yeah, man. All right. Let's go ahead and move along to our picks, I guess. Let's see what you're drinking.
Looks like I'll be drinking a little Crown, a little Mead. I might borrow one of them Guinness from you.
We'll go a little Guinness Extra Stout. If I do any drinking tonight, because I'm still kind of in the grips of sober October. But we'll
like I said, that's an abusive relationship.
It's not a popular one, that's for sure.
Fucking keto and Joe Rogan fucking up your life.
All right, what else do we have? Let's see. Let's move on to what you're listening to this week.
I'm going to choose the one song off of the new Paul Bearer song that I know I'll like.
Okay.
I don't know what it is yet, but I know it's there.
It's got to be there somewhere. All right, let's see, and then we'll move on to the fights. What are you going to be looking for coming up tomorrow?
It'd be easy to stack onto the main event, but I think Sam Alvey gets a knockout win tomorrow.
Okay.
If he doesn't and he loses, he's done. That is the last. They will leave him in Abu Dhabi.
I think Cowboy Oliveira, coming in way overweight, and his opponent apparently a good enough sport to go ahead and say, yeah, I'll still fight him.
I get a third of his money, right? Awesome.
Yeah. I think he gets a weird win, and even though he didn't do his job and make weight, then he talks a bunch of shit and dances around like an idiot. I think that's probably a pretty good fucking likelihood.
Well, see, that's kind of bullshit because you're just calling something that's already happened once.
I think lightning strikes twice, my friend.
It does indeed. In this sport, it does.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us this week. And I say this week because we're going to be right back at it again, doing one, setting the stage for the Halloween weekend next Friday. And we'll get into that shit. And I don't know what we're going to do other than talking about just Halloween shit, right?
Yeah, scary shit that's happened in our lives.
It's 2020. We're clearly not going to be able to, do any trick or treating. Ain't going to be able to get a designated driver, drive us around to bars. We ain't got that going for us
either.
either.
Get drunk on candy corn liquor.
Yeah. All right. Melancholy, 25 years.
Melancholy.
See you people next week on the Mead, Metal, and MMA podcast.